Hi there, my name's Aaron Short. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is Monday again, February 26th. This time next week it will be March, right? Crazy how the time is going, as always. I've been saying that the last few years. Things to talk about today. I may talk about the Noel Gallagher guitars that sold on Saturday. I just about got over that, and now I'm going to have to talk about it again and get angry again. No, it's all good. I'll talk about the Fender cab that I just posted a video on this week. There's two new things coming this week, from something Martin are announcing tomorrow, and also something that EV are announcing on Friday that we'll take a quick look at, and I'll take questions. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in last Wednesday to watch the interview with Jang. That is still available to watch again. If you missed it, please do check it out when you've got time. It's a 2-hour live stream, but I felt like it was very interesting, especially once we got going and warmed up and just started to chat about different aspects of his guitars and guitars in general. I thought it was really good. So check that out. Oh, now I'm getting even more worked up. I just saw a comment. Okay, I'll get to that. Okay, you're gonna kill me today. You're gonna kill me. You're gonna kill me. All right. Anyway, it's all good. It's all good. So, yeah, I'll start by talking about myself, and then you can ask questions, and I'll come to your comments in a second. Let me get this out of the way. My voice is shot. I did a lot of gigs last week. I did Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. A place closed down that I've been playing at that I love. And of course, I went late because of that. And I also went there Friday night to see my friend Michael there, as it was his last night. And then Sunday, I played a family party. And so, yeah, but I love it. I love being busy. So I'm not certainly not never complain about that kind of stuff ever. So quick rundown of that for those that are interested. So Thursday, in-ears, really loved it. Oh, super chat. Thank you, Charles. Really appreciate that. I must acknowledge that, because I really appreciate it. Aloha. The Jang live stream last week. Oh, you enjoyed it? Great. He is at the highest stratosphere of handmade guitar luthiers and has been that way for a few years now. I'm glad I had a chat with someone in the comments the other day about recommending stuff I haven't tried. Well, guess what? I never played one of his guitars. I've seen them. He's a great guy. You guys love them, and I've heard them recorded on YouTube, and they're great. I mean, just to follow up on that comment I was talking to someone with the other day, and I really, I don't want to ever argue with anyone on this channel. This channel is Aaron Short Music. This channel is my opinion, right? You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to agree with me, and I'm here to listen to you as well. But someone said, would I recommend two speakers? And I said I'd recommend one that I hadn't tried, but I haven't tried it. And I had this chat about the fact that I was recommending something I hadn't tried. Well, here's this. I haven't tried Isaac's guitars. And Isaac's guitar, I had him on the channel for a 2-hour live stream. So, I did say that on that stream as well. And I'm certainly not going to recommend you buy or order one of his guitars today, as I haven't played them. But I'm not willing to not recommend things on this channel just because I haven't played them either. But I'll always tell you that, I haven't played them. And that's the truth. But the reason we had Isaac on here is that so many of you were telling me how amazing he is. Lloyd Baggs told me in person he's amazing. The guitars obviously look amazing. I listened to them on YouTube. They sound amazing. So at this point, if they're not for me, it's simply because I'm used to a certain neck radius or neck shape or nut width, right? And of course, he makes custom guitars. I always say with custom guitars, you've got to order the spec that's right for you. The hardest thing with buying guitars as a new player is you don't know what's right for you. Once you've played thousands of guitars, I must have bought and sold hundreds, thousands of guitars. I really know what I like. Even then, something will surprise me, and I'll say, well, I need a 1 3/4 inch nut width, and I'll play a narrower nut, a 1 11/16, and I'll say, well, actually, this feels great because of the way the rest of the neck is constructed. So none of this stuff is set in stone. But I thought it was great to have him on, and one day I will get to play one of his guitars, and then I can really talk about them. But I just loved having someone on here to ask the questions to. It was amazing, and do check out that interview if you have the time. But that leads me on to this Wednesday. We've got Michael Haney on. So Michael Haney, we're going to do the same thing, but with electric guitars. Start with an interview, get to know him a little bit, and then ask him your questions. And I think that will be even more productive because the electric guitar setups and things are very much debated and talked about online. And I'm sure you all have questions. I know I have some, again, about the stainless steel frets, keeping a tremolo in tune, all this kind of stuff. So really excited. So once again, please do me a favor, write down on your schedule for Wednesday, 2 p.m. EST, to join us live with questions aimed at the electric guitarist. That would be great. So just to finish what I was saying, Thursday, in-ears, pros and cons, but overall, I love them. Friday, in-ears. Saturday, I didn't wear the in-ears because I wanted to be able to speak to people. And then I did put them in later on, so I kind of did a mixture of both. That's the one thing with in-ears. They do isolate you from the crowd. And some in-ears have the built-in mics. That's really the way forward, especially if you can just turn them on in between songs. Someone needs to make a pedal where when you press the button to mute the effects, raise the voice, and talk to the audience in between songs, it also engages microphones in the room, or in the pedal or in the mic stand or something, so you can hear the audience talking to you. That'd be amazing. That'd be the best of both worlds for me. And then Sunday was interesting. So I used the eVerse 8. I know a lot of people ask me about what speaker to buy. I used the eVerse 8, but I actually regretted not taking the Bose S1 Pro Plus. And that's because there was a lot of children running around, and they kept running around the mic cable. And of course, I wasn't wireless. The Bose S1 Pro Plus would have been ideal for that kind of, where you need a clean stage, a very low, nice, natural sounding volume, basically just yourself, but a little bit louder. That would have been absolutely incredible. And the eVerse was fine too, but it would just been even better for that particular job. So that's really what I'm doing lately. I'm using the Bose for those slight boosts of amplification where I want to be really clean, like a wedding proposal, wedding ceremony, kids party, library gig, coffee shop. Just want to be clean, look clean on stage. Hotel lobbies, you don't want loads of cables running around in the hotel, that kind of stuff. Any bar gig where people might be loud and noisy, I take the eVerse 8 because it is definitely louder. So that's my take on those two for anyone that's interested. All right, so that was my weekend. Let's get on to see what you're saying here. And then once I've gone through a few, I'll come back with some news that I've got that I found yesterday. David says, good afternoon. Good to see you, David. And I did get a new subscriber in the countdown. Really appreciate that. If you just check, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, then please do. It really helps. That was Fred. Yeah, I said thank you. Yeah, thank you, Fred. If you're watching, appreciate it. Bernard's here in Suffolk, UK. Kevin's here in Indiana, USA. Storchibi, let me know how to say your name. It looks like I'll be talking to you later on. Hello, Aaron in chat. Madfrit Manchester says big hi from Graham in the UK. Good to see you, Graham. Gravel Rocks. Aaron, if you could only pick one modeler, which one would it be? So, I promise, I keep going back and forth between all of them. It's like the speakers, it's like the guitars. It all depends on what you need and what you want. I always talk about having a car. It sounds silly, doesn't it? I bet everyone watching has a car. If you have a car, you could have a huge modeler. You could have a full-size Helix, and you could have 3 guitars, and you could have a Fender FR12 or 2 of them, and it'd be fine, especially if you don't run PA as well. You'd be fine for any gig, right? But when you travel light, that does become an issue. So just to summarize, I really like the Quad Cortex. They really annoyed me at NAMM with their silly booth thing saying soon. And it turns out they've just said that won't be ready until Q2, which I know we're racing towards. But even then, their next update won't support all of the plugins. But I have to say, I haven't talked about this yet, but one of the reasons I decided to move away from that is that many people keep saying the buttons, the foot switches are too close together. And it's funny, I never actually tried it. I've only used it in here. I haven't used it live yet. And I just thought, you know what? I need to actually just test this. So I went and put my shoes on. I'm a size 12 US, 13 UK, or is it the other way around? I always forget. I always have to double check. But got big feet basically and big shoes. So It was absolutely fine. There was no problem. There's one foot switch that changes the preset bank, which if you hit is a real pain because it changes all your sounds. They should allow an option to disable that. But all the other foot switches, I was pressing them all in sequence and there was just no issue whatsoever. So I also at that time found that the Kemper stage is a bit noisy. So I've decided I was going to sell the QC. I've actually decided not to sell it though. So I'm going to keep those two and decide which one to keep long term. I think they're both great depending on your needs. I do think it's nice that the QC has those models in it and it's smaller. And I really like the FR12 cab. I mean, the QC and the FR12 cab is a great option. It really is. So if I had to choose one right now, I'm going to say QC, even though I'm really frustrated with the company. But people say they're all great. They really are. And I almost think that's by design because the Helix does things the Quad Cortex doesn't do. The Quad Cortex does things the Kemper doesn't do. The Kemper does things the Fractal doesn't do. And the Fractal does things that the rest don't do. There really isn't one that does everything the way we want it to do it. And that's annoying. So I almost think it's time for a haircut. But I almost think it's time for I almost think it's time for a haircut. I almost think it's by design that these companies do that because I've owned them all multiple times, and I'm sure many people watching have as well, which is very annoying. But there we go. That's what happens when you like gear. So yeah, it really depends on your needs. And right now, for me, I would go with that. But who knows how I'll feel in 6 months? I probably should just. I mean, I've got an HX Stomp. I've got the QC. I've got the Kemper. I should probably just keep them, and then I can just go between them, but that's kind of frustrating too that you should have to do that, honestly. Patsy, hi. David, hi. Mark, hi. So here's the comment of the week. So I was looking for someone to pick me one of these guitars up. It sounds like it would have been way too much to ask because Storchibi was there at 4:15 a.m. at the Gibson garage. So there's no way I would have asked someone to go there at 4 a.m. If I'd flown to London, I would have gone there probably around that time. And it would have been second in line at Sound. I probably got at 5 a.m. So I guess let me know what time. This is really good information. I'm glad you got one. I'm glad you were there. So a few questions for you, if you don't mind. What time were there like 20 people in line? What's the latest you could have got there to get one of the 20? How much was it in American dollars or pounds? Because someone said 10,000, but was that dollars or pounds? And what does it weigh? Does it weigh over 10 pounds? I'd love that information if you don't mind. I did see one was up for sale for $25,000. That's just crazy. That's just stupid. Dr. McFarlane says no hiss. That's right. The new FR12 that I got has no hiss. It's a great unit. I really recommend it to anyone looking for a way to amplify their modeler. It's great. It really is great. And you know how I know it's great? Sometimes you get a piece of gear and then you just realize that an hour or two has gone by. And that's what happened with that. I'm playing it, trying different sounds, playing it. Oh, an hour's gone by. This is great. You know, that's great. It doesn't often happen with me, believe it or not. So the neck on the Noel Gallagher is unbelievable. So thin. Okay, nice. I do like that. And the neck is thin on the 355 as well, which is good. Almost too thin, but I don't like huge baseball bat necks. Suits my tiny hands. Well, there you go. I have big. I'm 6'5", so got greeted by Cesar and Mark Agnesi. Nice. Oh man, I'm so jealous. You can see my dad and me entering the garage. All right. I know. I had to make a decision. I'm like, I want a Les Paul. I'd love an Noel Gallagher one. I don't really want a black one. I want a light one. If I had no gigs, I would have flown over and got one. I had a whole weekend of gigs that I couldn't possibly. They turned out to be really good gigs. I couldn't have turned them down. And but yeah, I'm kind of angry at Gibson for only making 20. You know, that just makes the old gas thing, the gas meter, rise up a lot. But I'm glad you got one. And please, if you want to send some pictures and video, that'd be great too. The great thing with the Noel Gallagher guitars, I know that is that guitar and it's signed by him, and that's awesome. But what I like about his artist models is they're not customized too much. They're basically classic models. So my 355, recently a 355 came up that's basically the same guitar, but not the Noel Gallagher. So I could order the 78 custom black Les Paul and it would be the same guitar. And then the only difference I think he made is he put the coil tap switch in. So that could be done by someone like Sweetwater. And so I could get one, but I think I want a light. I think I want, like he used to have a red, the kind of red burst Les Paul. I think I want one like that, and I want a light one. I know if you order from the Gibson Garage, you can pay an extra $1,000, and this is in Nashville as well. You can pay an extra $1,000 to get a guitar that's under £8. But, you know, some people say they don't sound as good, but, to each their own. Lee K, good, hey, good, Lee, thanks for moderating, and Rosanna too, of course. Appreciate your support every time. John says, you have great stuff. I enjoyed Isaac a lot. Great. I thought it was a great interview. I wish more people watched it, honestly. So if you can share it for me, please do. I'm going to do more Wednesdays. Not every Wednesday, but a lot of... I will do... If I have a guest, whoever it may be, I'll add them in on a Wednesday. I won't bring them in on a Monday. I'm going to keep Mondays as this, like just my thoughts, just me answering questions. I'll add the Wednesdays in as and when I need to. So this Wednesday, we have got Michael Haney. In a week, or I think 2 weeks after that, we're going to have Cole Clark, the creator or the engineer from Cole Clark, talking about pickups. That'll be really cool. I'm excited for that. That will have to be 7 p.m. EST because he's in Australia. So that's going to be a weird time. But again, you haven't got to watch it live. You can watch the replay. At the end of the day, any time I go live is a weird time for somebody. That's the problem. And then if you've got any ideas for guests, let me know, because I'm open to just having anyone on at this point. Anyone that's relevant, of course, to what I'm doing. Sam, good to see you. Aries, Martin would be your main acoustic brand. No, Cole Clark, really. I got to say, Cole Clark. Second, I mean, it depends what you're talking about. You know, Gibson sound different to Martin. Martin sound different to Taylor. Taylor sound different. They all sound different. To sit here and record and mic up and record like a singer-songwriter thing, yes. Martin Dreadnought, Martin OM, yes. Get on stage, Cole Clark is slaying it right now, and I got that Maton back. You see, this is why I don't like to tell people about stuff, because it's been months since I got that Maton and showed it to you on the channel, and you might assume that I don't like it or I returned it. No, I have it. It's great, but I just haven't got around yet to making the video, and I did have to ship it back to Maton to have it repaired, and I'll talk about that in the video. But with that whole process and then getting it back and then going to NAMM, I just haven't made the video. So I almost wish I hadn't showed it off when I first got it, because it just creates this kind of backlog for me. And the main reason I'll be using that guitar is to talk about stainless steel frets on an acoustic guitar. So I'm going to do that at some point. But yeah, that's why I'm trying not to like say I'm trying so-and-so or I've got so-and-so until I'm actually ready to post the video and then talk about it on the live stream. I dig the theme song. Hi everyone, love from Nola. Have a great time. Thank you, my friend. Don Wayne says hi. Not sure who that is. Please take care and rest your voice. Yes, we have to. I know. I totally overdid it at the weekend. Hey, I'm used to this. I've been singing since I was 15. I've been singing professionally since I was 23. I definitely believe in, like, you shouldn't oversing to start with. That's like telling someone you shouldn't overeat, you shouldn't overrun, you shouldn't oversing. You should certainly rest your voice once you've oversung, which I'm not doing, but I want to do the live stream. And I'm drinking hot tea and I slept in today. But yeah, the problem with the voice is finite, you know. It's not something you can just, like electric guitar, you can put new strings on and have it set up and replace the frets. The voice, you get one voice and that's it. I want to talk more about the voice in the future. Perhaps we can have a voice doctor on here one time. That'd be great. Actually, my voice doctor is awesome. I wonder if she'd come on. I don't know. Anyway, again, I'm saying things ahead of time that I'll regret saying later on. Rafa says, what's going on? Great points. Cheers. How's your stuff going? In fact, I might get Rafa on as a guest one Wednesday. That'd be nice, because I like the way he thinks about gear. Boomer says, like this, share and subscribe. Exactly. Thank you for your support. Aries is in Portugal. McFarlane likes all modelers for different reasons. So that's because they all have pros and cons. No one makes the perfect product. And the reason is that once you make the perfect product, guess what? You're done. Your company's done. You have to leave space to make improvements. You know, I really believe like TC Helicon, they really made their products do so much for so many people. And look at them now. They've gone. So there we go. There's proof. So that doesn't mean I want it to be that way. I want products that are they'll never be perfect. I want products that think outside the box and do a lot. And some emissions from some pedals seem so obvious to me. But I also get that they can't do everything, and they also can't give us everything in one product because they won't sell other products. John says, I'm still near Kansas City. I don't have a car. Well, okay. So this whole car thing is interesting, right? Because the rig I used on Saturday night was actually incredible. So it was the QSC K8.2 because I needed the volume. It was a decent weight mic stand and a PA speaker stand in a bag that I could carry in one hand. It was my bag full of all my pedals and cables, Voice Live 3, blah, blah, blah. And microphone in a bag that weighs about 22 pounds. That's heavy, but I'm able to carry that and that bag together. The speaker in the other hand, the guitar on my back, and my tip jar, which I want to take an actual dedicated oversized tip jar because I knew it'd be a good night on Saturday night. But I carried all that in. Okay, it wasn't easy, but I carried all that from the cab to the venue in one trip. And when I got home, I got a ride home, but then I got home, same thing, one trip. You know, it's amazing to me that I can have a rig of that kind of complexity and volume and headroom and features in something that I can carry in one trip. Now, I can't carry that on a subway, but the fact that it's one trip from a car to the venue, I think that's amazing. I really don't need any more than that. And then if I was taking the subway, I would just take a lighter mic stand, no speaker stand, a lighter speaker, and I could still do it in one trip. So this is stuff that's important to me, but maybe not to people that are watching. I don't hear any reverb on his voice. I got no reverb. Don't know what you're talking about. I got a noise gate, but you need it because this room is so noisy. And what happens this time of year is the radiator comes on, and if you're wearing headphones, you'll hear a little hiss. And what that is when the gate turns off, you're hearing the hiss of the radiator. There's nothing I can do about that, I'm afraid. I could turn the radiator off, but I'm not willing to get cold. Sorry. John says hello from Washington. Rusty says howdy and everyone. I put the hi-fi in my 0015M. It sounds great through the S1 Pro on its own. Very good. Very good. We were saying what a great guitar that is, and what a great pickup that is, and that's also a great speaker. So that's good. Capture the Kemper profiles and get the best of both. I just can't be bothered. You know, you can get great sounds from the built-in models on the Quad Cortex. I really can't be bothered to like capture and search for captures and blah blah blah. I mean, it's nice to have the option. Don't get me wrong, but my needs are so basic. I just need a clean, a crunch, and a heavy. That's all I need. Okay, so 8:30 a.m. there was 20 people in line for the guitar. So if someone had got there at 8, they would have got, okay, you're killing me. You're killing me. Just under 10 pounds. That's awesome because people might think that's heavy. And I like guitars that are 7 pounds, but Les Pauls can go up to 10, 11, 12 pounds. So under 10 pounds is awesome. No, it doesn't. It doesn't what? It doesn't. Don't forget there's a lag here. You have to tell me the whole thing. Neck is thinner than the ES35. Oh, well, that's like a wafer. That might be too thin for me. I don't know. I got big hands. Don't know what you mean with that. You have to. Can you give me clarification? I can't remember what I asked you 5 minutes ago. Chris, good to see you here. Rumors say there are more NHs in the making. Noel Gallagher? What would they be? I know he plays his maple acoustic a lot, and they sold out really well, the 150s. So a maple 150 would make a lot of sense in that color, I mean. And what else? Maybe that silver one he had? I don't know. Noel Gallagher, yeah. Yeah. The other thing is, like, I always want to say this. Look for an actual 78 custom and stick that switch in it. And then you've got the actual guitar he had from that batch. Like, look for an actual 355 like his. Because, again, they're not custom one-offs. These are guitars he bought himself in the past. I love his Sheraton red guitar that's now available on, mass market. But look for an actual Japanese-made one from that time period. That will give you what he had. I had his acoustic. Remember, I told you I bought a Takamine in London years ago, and then realized recently that was the Oasis Wonderwall guitar, and that I'd sold it. But that, you see, that's better than Takamine re-releasing it, in my opinion, because that was from the same batch that his would have been. It might be the next one off the line, you know? So that's a great option too. Especially if you know that people aren't buying them. If you know that secret that others don't know. Of course, as the years go by, more and more people make videos about this stuff, and it makes it harder. Formerly known as T. Hello, Aaron. Hello in the chat. I enjoyed the Isaac interview. Oh, I was just thinking about the reverb thing. Maybe he's talking about the song, but that was the producer's decision. So I nothing I can. That was 10 years ago too. They didn't overdo the aging this time. Yeah, the aging on the 355 was a bit much for me. Bit of a letdown is there's no case candy at all. Yeah, that's annoying. Because again, here's the thing. I could go to Sweetwater and order a black 78 custom Les Paul with the amount of aging that I want and the switch, the pickup split switch, and I could basically just recreate that guitar myself without his signature on it, which doesn't bother me actually. I don't need his signature on the guitar. I know it won't be one of the 20 and won't have the sort of value that yours has, but I could still get one. I could make my own, and I could also tweak something about it if I wanted to. So again, that's the great thing with these. They're not like some special color that they won't reuse because that's the color of that guitar. This is a recreation of a 78 custom. So that is always an option for people that didn't get one. So it's pretty cool. I mean, you could even have it chambered or something if you wanted it to be lighter. Of course, then it's not like his, but there we go. So, yeah, they should have thrown a strap or something in there with it. I just got an HX Stomp. Great. I'm curious on your opinions of the Helix versus Quad Gore-Tex. I mean, the HX Stomp is amazing for the size, and some of the pedals and things in it are great, but the DSP is way underpowered. You'll notice that when you load some of those blocks, it wipes out the DSP for the whole unit. It's really pretty useless in that regards. If you're not using those blocks, then it's great. So you can easily have an amp with a distortion pedal, a drive pedal, a reverb, and a clean boost at the end with that pedal and a 2-button passive foot switch or a MIDI controller. And that's what I would do with it, and that's why I have one. But the Quad Gore-Tex is a bit bigger and way more powerful, and I like the amp sounds a bit more too, and the cabs. So, yeah, it really depends on. Again, I need to know your needs, requirements. AP5 Pro is amazing. It is. So is the Cole Clark PG3 for different reasons. I like the Maton guitars acoustically a little bit more because they have more of a traditional bracing pattern. But the Cole, I just plug in all the time, so I really don't need that, you know. David, what wood combination, top, back, and sides gives a warmer woody tone for acoustic guitar? Some brightness is okay, but I don't want metallic. Yeah, you want mahogany, even mahogany back sides and mahogany top. I've never had a guitar like that. But certainly like a D18, like mahogany back and sides, and a Sitka top. Once you get the Addy tops, they're a bit more abrasive, I think, but they've got more headroom. I'll ask people in the chat what they think as well. I would definitely, from what I've heard and what I've been told, an all mahogany guitar would give you what you're looking for. So mahogany top, mahogany back and sides, but I've never played one. So again, I have to make that stipulation. How long did you sing this week? 6 hours total. Oh, God, no. 3.5 hours on Thursday. I bet I need to write this down. I'll do it in the comment. Hang on. 3.5 Thursday. 3 total on Friday. Probably 4, maybe just more than 4 on Saturday. And 2.5 on Sunday. So that is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 hours. Is that right? That can't be right. 3.5 plus 2.5 is 6. Plus 4 is 10. Plus 3 is 13 hours for over the weekend. That's a long and that's omitting the breaks. That's way too much. I'm crazy. But then this weekend I don't have anything on Saturday, I think. So, you know, it all even that's the problem when you do this when you're a freelancer. Everything is like it's hard to say no. You know, if you're watching this, it's hard to say no to stuff because you don't know what's going to happen next. And that means sometimes you get a weekend with too much, and then you'll get a weekend with not enough. And that's kind of how it balances out. Unfortunately, it's not ideal, is it? I really like the models on the QC. Capturing amps is a waste of time, in my opinion. I think it's all right if you've got an amp that you want to capture. And I do. I've got the Mesa, but I just think there's so many options in there anyway. I'm just not that fussy about it. I just want 3 good sounds, you know. Oh, sorry, that's not the weight. So £9,999. So that would have. Okay, I'm gonna do this quickly. Sorry, I just become about the Noel Gallagher guitar because I didn't know he had one. So £9,999 to dollars. Once I just want to see this. It's driving me crazy here. Dollars. What would that have actually cost me if I went there? Oh, $12,500. Yeah, plus the flight, plus any tax on the way back. Yeah, but I know some of it went to charity. And again, I'm not disparaging it. I'd love to have one, but I'm not gonna buy one from a reseller. For me, it would make much more sense for me if I really wanted that guitar to have one built. And I would go for like I'd actually go for new old stock. I wouldn't want any aging on it. I'd go new old stock. So just a very light aging. If I was going to get one. And I'd probably, well, I need to know the weight. If you don't mind weighing yours and let me know the weight, I'd really appreciate it. Oh, can't tell. Oh, you know what the 2 guitars are going to be that are coming? They will surprise everyone, them 2 that they try to copy right now. So did they tell you what they are? What did that work out in euros, and did you have to pay back, bring it back? Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? If you bring it back over to America, they might charge you tax on the way back in. It's not £10, that's good. Yeah, it cost 10K. Didn't check the car. Oh, so you're in Germany? Wow. They had, I mean, I gotta say, I watched the walk around with the darkness, and it looked, the Gibson Garage thing looks amazing. But after I watched that video, I was like, well, I've also kind of seen it all now as well. I mean, I know it's not the same thing, but yeah, I would certainly go there. The one in Nashville is great. 50 picks, an umbrella, and a bottle of water. T-shirt as the first ever customer. That's cool. You're the first ever customer. I think that's the coolest thing. VAT in Germany is 19%. So you're like, okay, so you took it back to Germany. You're lucky you didn't have to pay that. I can just imagine bringing that to America and they stop you and say, right, you know, you just bought this and you got to pay the import tax. Oh, man. Yeah, 12,000 US dollars. I know. No problem. You know, it happens all the time. It used to really derail me. Someone would say, there's no sound. And I would just freak out. And it's because they had or they'd say there's an echo. And it's because they had their phone open next to them, next to their iPad. But it doesn't freak me out anymore because the thing is I'm so used to this. And I know that what I hear is what you hear now. So but I do appreciate you telling me. And I just don't let it freak me out anymore. What's your favorite wood combination? Probably the classic, probably the East Indian rosewood back and sides and Sitka or Addy top. But yeah, probably Sitka top, East Indian rosewood. Probably the best guitar I have is the Engelmann OM28, which is Engelmann top and rosewood back and sides. The thing is, I'm always telling people that woods sound different and no wood sounds the same. So you might get a D18 and feel it has more attack than or a deeper bass than a HD28. It really depends on that guitar. So you can generalize wood. You can say that an all mahogany guitar will sound more mellow than an Addy topped maple back and side guitar. You can do that because it's true. But there's always exceptions to the rule based on the piece of wood that was cut down that day and the way the guitar is built. So let's show you guys the news I saw. This is exciting me a lot. EV have something coming. So EV released at NAMM the Everse 12, which didn't really interest me because the Everse 8 is awesome and the 12 is way heavier and way bigger. So speaking of traveling light, the Everse 12 has no interest to me pretty much at all. But I get it'd be interesting for a DJ. Now this new one, I don't know what this is. It looks like a conventional PA speaker, and in the blurb they say it's going to have connectivity, and there's pictures of guitarists and DJs. I was assuming this would be a PA speaker, and I'd love that because I love my QSC K8.2. I'd love that to have an app built in as well. That would be amazing. But I don't know. It's coming out Friday. Of course, if it was an Everse 12 Pro, that would blow my mind. I'd buy that in a heartbeat because I love the Everse 8. So if it was like that, but more money, but somehow even better sounding and louder and lighter, and I mean, that'd be amazing. I have no idea what this is, and I'm really excited to see what it is on Friday. So that's the first thing that I saw on social that I'll be keeping an eye on. I have no communication. I actually have a communication with a shop that makes cables and works with EV, and I know the guy there. He won't tell. He's not able to tell me what these things are, but he's made me a cable for mine that powers my Play acoustic pedal that I'm going to make a video on at some point. But it's ironic, some of this gear, like I love the Everse 8, but I don't know anyone there. And then with other speakers that I won't mention, I didn't like them as much, and I had very good communication with the company. So I need to work on that maybe. And then the other thing that I saw was this. Now, honestly, after the hype of the Inception guitar, I'm not going to get my hopes up too much because I really felt they overhyped that guitar. It's like the next, to me, the next wave of acoustic guitars means a brand new material, a brand new shape, not simply moving to local tone woods. Sorry, that's just how I feel. But they're saying on this one, the stars are aligning. Check back tomorrow at 9 a.m. for a special announcement. Well, that to me just sounds like an artist Q&A or artist event or something. So I don't think that'll be a new model at all. So we're getting some releases now, which are basically things that didn't make it to NAMM because they weren't ready. So that's good. We're going to get a few of those releases over the next few weeks for sure. But I don't think this is a new guitar. Is that someone said grammar? The stars are aligning. Check back tomorrow at 9 a.m. for a special announcement. Anyway, check that out tomorrow and see what that is. So I know the guitar. Oh, someone told you. So you know what the two guitars are going to be. The owner of one of the guitars told me in the queue, Gibson do have his right now. Oh, they've got it to copy it. Wow, that's great. I didn't like the whole UK only thing, but when I got the J150, that was USA only, so I get it. Epiphone, I love the Epiphone. Have you got the Epiphone, The wine red one. I love that guitar. It's great. I love that guitar. I haven't actually showed it on the channel. I've got one. I love it. I keep looking on Sweetwater for a really light one. Again, I like light guitars, and they get a lot in. So I keep looking. Like the minute I see a nice looking one that's like just under £8, I'm just going to order it instantly. I'll show you what I mean right now. So this is a great guitar. Now, again, if you look for an actual one from the 80s, 85, I think it was, 80s, that Noel would have bought, it'll be a lot better. It'll be the real deal, right? But these are great, and the price is really good for what it is, in my opinion, of course. But look, you see what I mean about the weight? I love the fact they list the weight on here, because this one is £8 13 ounces. And this one is £8 6 ounces, which I think is what mine is. Mine's around that, maybe a little bit heavier. The fretboards are streaky, but you know, can't have everything these days. And the minute I see one on here that's £7 something, I would just buy. I don't think it's going to happen because a guitar of this style can't really be that light. But I'm just saying, I always check Sweetwater because I love the pictures, I love the weight, and they have a great return policy as well and inspection process. So if I ever see one on here that says £7 something, I'm just going to order it. But that's never going to happen. That's just never going to happen. But yeah, I love the fact they made this an Epiphone and it's still in production. So you can still buy one of these. It's so frustrating when they make 20 or something and you can't get one. It's really, really, really frustrating. And like I said, I did see one on Reverb already. Someone wanted 32 grand. That came down to 25 grand. Let me see if it's still up there. Yeah, it's still up there. It's gone back to 35. Do you know what you could order for 30? I mean, you could just order a custom with Brazilian rosewood. Why would you do it? Because it's that guitar. I know, but you know, you have to draw the line somewhere, right? So we're saying this was 12 grand if you went down there in person, and this person wants 35. Now, it's not to say they're going to get that. I don't believe that they will. And this is the only one that I've seen for sale. So yeah, it's pretty heavily aged. Look, because Noel's was given to him by Johnny Marr in the 90s. So I'm sure that Noel's is aged like this. The interesting thing is they don't copy the aging. But this is actually, I'm really happy I saw this. I'll tell you why in a second. It's interesting with Gibson because they're not copying the actual aging of his guitar. They just do an aging of that style. So that all the guitars are slightly different, which is really cool when you think about it, and really annoying when you think about it because it's not the same as his guitar, and it's supposed to be his guitar. But I didn't like the amount of aging they did on the back of the neck of the 355, and that really drove me crazy. But look at this. This has a load of aging on the back of the neck. So there we go. So my point was, yes, if you custom order one of these from Gibson, it will not be as good as owning one of the 20. I'm not trying to kid myself here, but you could order it new old stock with no aging, is my point. And I believe they will make it because it's not an exclusive guitar, right? It's a 78 custom Les Paul with uncovered humbuckers, which you can take the cover off the humbuckers. It's got a certain style of knobs and switches, but you could always put those on after the fact. And the one thing that's really cool about this guitar for me is the pickup selector. This thing here, you see it between the tone controls. You can actually make a single coil sound, and that's what Noel used on What's the Story Morning Glory. So I really like that. So yeah, I'm if you can't tell, I'm very sour that I didn't get one. It's also not a great time for me to be buying such an expensive guitar with taxes coming up and things like that, and still having lots of guitars that I need to review and sell. But I have a collection now of these guitars. I'm a bit of a collector with Noel Gallagher guitars. I have the J150, I have the blue Epiphone, I have the wine red Epiphone, I have the 355. So this would have been like the one I'm missing. And I stupidly had and sold the Wonderwall guitar, which will forever haunt me. I didn't even know at the time I had it. So I'm gonna make, at one point I'm gonna make, because I don't know if I'm gonna keep these I might have to sell these at some point. I don't know. So I will definitely make a video at some point. Again, promises. I want to make a video, the guitars of Noel Gallagher. That would be cool. Have you tried the Epiphone that came out the same day the 355 was released? Got myself an 80. Well, you did what I said. Yes, I have the 355. I have the Epiphone. I like it. But you did what I was looking for. You've got an 83 Japanese Riviera in Antique Sunburst. So that is the bonehead guitar from Oasis. And that, for me, is the ultimate. Because you've got a guitar that is the guitar that they bought at the time, not a recreation. I actually really like the recreation. And I don't like aged guitars. I like the neck to be clean and everything. So for me, the recreation is ideal. But you've got the best. You've got something that's better than a copy. Like if they remade that guitar tomorrow for 10 grand, your guitar is arguably better because it's not remade from wood of today. It's the guitar that came off the factory line the same week as theirs did. And that's really cool. So you've got a great collection there. Let me know if you've got any others. Have you got the Union Jack one? I'd be interested to know. The pickups on that are so much better than the new one. Yeah. I'm not really... I haven't tried them. The pickups on the 355 are amazing. I actually don't mind the pickups on the new one at all. But yeah, finding a Japanese is obviously the way forward for that. The new Epi is a great guitar. Yeah, I do. And I don't even like that whole thing for the money. I think the Epiphone the Epiphone Sheraton style guitar. What's the name of it? I can't think. That one I just showed you. It is a great guitar. It is. Especially if you find a used one now. You're laughing all the way to the bank, to the guitar shop. But I would just like to find a really light one if I can. But I don't think that'll ever happen. There was one a few months ago. There was one that was like £8, 2 ounces or 1 ounce, and it just went immediately. I didn't jump on it, but I'm going to wait for an even lighter one. Noel's is an 83 as well. Cool. That Reverb one is much heavier age than mine. See, they're all unique. It's crazy. So it's not a recreation of Noel's guitar. It's like more like a guitar from that time frame. I don't know how I feel about that. Nick raises a great question. Is it just me, or is every big release lately a signature model? Yes, this is a bugbear for me. Most releases now are a signature model or limited edition. Why do they do that? Because it makes, well, if the fans want it, like John Mayer fans, you release something with John Mayer on it, instantly you've got this whole massive market that want to buy it, this whole market base. If you release something that's limited edition, you got people knowing that if they don't get one, they'll never get one. I will never get that. That's why I got I was kind of disappointed about the whole UK Gibson Les Paul thing. If I was off the weekend, I would have gone. I would have gone there. For the experience, to make a video of the garage and buy that guitar. I'll never get one again because I'm never going to pay $30,000. I'd rather just order my own, right? So that's why they do it. It creates this incredible hype, and it taps into the side of us that's like, I must have one because I'll never get one again. That's why they do it. It's purely marketing. It's purely to sell stuff. And I've got no problem with that, really, because if these companies, that's what they are, they're companies. If they don't sell stuff, they're not going to be around very long, right? You've got to have a good business mentality to run a business. I would be a terrible business person because I would constantly say, improve this, tweak this, change this, and the product wouldn't get released and the company would go bankrupt, right? So I totally get it. It's just on the consumer side, it's frustrating when you want something and it's very, very expensive and very limited and you can't get it and you're competing with people that are looking to sell it. So our friend here in the chat obviously loves the Noel Gallagher guitars and is building a collection. But if anyone went there with the intention of buying it to then sell it on at double the price, who am I to really criticize that? But let's just say it's not something that makes me particularly happy, Sergio, have a nice time of day. I told Cesar they should think about recreating the Bonehead one. Yes, I actually would prefer the Bone. I think many of us would prefer the Bonehead Oasis guitar to the wine red. Because when I think of Oasis in the early days, it's that brown bonehead guitar. That is the guitar. And they recreated the wine red one. So, yeah. They should have done it in wine red and brown. They should have done both versions. Or make a custom shop version of that guitar. Because that is the guitar. That is the guitar. Not the 355. Not the black Les Paul. I barely remember those guitars, honestly. As an Oasis fan, it's that brown, the brown Japanese guitar. That's the one. So Storch AB, I don't know if I'm saying that right. You've got the Union Jack Supernova, cool. The J150, the 355, the 78 Les Paul, and the Bonehead one. 2,000 euros. That was a good deal for that. Wow. So you haven't got the Epiphone copy because you've got the real deal. You haven't got the Wonderwall Takamine that I sold stupidly. And what else is there? Oh, you haven't got the blue one. I've got the blue one, which Noel Gallagher says he hates. But there we go. To me, the new Taylor 314 anniversary. I'll steer away from the Oasis. You know, I'm an Oasis fan. I know many of you are not Oasis fans, so I'm going to steer away a little bit from that. I don't want the whole day to be about that. Yes, I'm disappointed I didn't get one. Yes, my bank balance is thankful I didn't get one. And who knows? I'm still looking for the right Les Paul. And for me, that really needs to be kind of light. So we'll see what happens with that. So, to me, the new Taylor 314 Anniversary Edition with a torrefied top sounds amazing. Why don't all guitar makers do this? I mean, it kind of makes sense to bake the top from the acoustic guitar. And at the same time, like I said earlier, who's to say, without comparing these things directly back to back, who's to say if it's better or worse? And the problem with guitars is you can never compare the same piece of wood back to back in real time. And I think a lot of companies know that. But I haven't heard of this. I really like the 314s. Because they're mahogany, right? And I think that's good on the Taylor. So let me see. Is this available on Sweetwater? Let me see. Yeah, it is. Right, let's have a look at this together. These look nice. Now, you can tell it's torrefied by the lines. I assume this is torrefied. Yeah, there we go. I didn't know about these. Thanks for sharing this. So one potential issue with torrefication is you get the lines, right? That's how I knew straight away this was torrefied. That's just what happens as part of the process. There's not much you can do about it. We got the sunburst top. I mean, a lot of people are doing these now because the woods are not as attractive as they used to be. And the way to fix that, I mean, did you notice that Gibson just released a load of black guitars? It's to cover up the look of the wood. Did you notice that Martin, the printing on guitars, is to cover the look of the wood? Did you notice that this guitar has so it's just something that's happening now in the industry. But the great thing, I know I keep talking about Sweetwater, but look, they have these pictures. So what you can do is you can come here and think to yourself, right, which one looks the best? In my opinion, this one looks the best. You can also see how heavy it is. And unfortunately, this is the heaviest one. So, yeah, I would steer away from that. So the lightest one is 410, which is would be my go-to. I might compromise with this one that's 411 based on the look and the weight. Yeah, I don't love the lines. Oh, that's all right. I don't love the lines on the torrefied stuff, but you know, what are the other specs of it? I haven't actually seen these yet, but I like the idea of it. So torrefied Sitka spruce top and sapele back and sides. Yeah, I never forget. We had Tom used to work at TC Helicon, was on here once, and he had one of these guitars, the 314, and it sounded amazing, both plugged in and acoustically, or mostly plugged in on that guitar on that day. But I really liked it. But his was an older one with the X bracing. That's the only thing. I don't know if I've played one of these with the V bracing. Maybe I'd like it. Maybe I wouldn't. I'd be tempted to look for a 314 X-braced old version on Reverb myself. But having said that, new acoustics are nice, and it'd be nice to get this. I mean, with the Tarified, who knows? Tarified top 314 might be really cool. So yeah, I like this guitar. I would definitely check out one of these if Taylor were open to it, but they're probably not. But anyway, yeah, thanks for bringing that to my attention. And it has brought the price up. This was one of the more affordable models. This is now $2,800, although most of the models have gone up in price recently. Does it have anything else? Or is it simply the Tarified top? I think that's it. And how much is a regular one then? So Taylor 314. That's 28. A 314 is 24. So really $400 for the Tarified? Maybe there's some other changes that I missed as well. Let me know in the chat if I missed anything. But yeah, this is nice too. I really think the mahogany style back and sides on these Taylors works in their favor. It's also generally lighter. I'm surprised these are as heavy as they are actually at 410 when it's mahogany back and sides. For example, what's the 414 is rosewood back and sides. And they now have a sunburst top exclusively. You see they're a few ounces heavier. So, yeah, it's okay. My Cole Clark that I play now with the humbucker is just over £5. I'm okay with it because it's got a humbucker in it, so it's obviously going to add weight to it, but it's fine. So yeah, I'd like to hear the. Am I missing something? Let me know in the chat. But I'd like to hear that Tarified one. So the 414 is now $3,000. Wow. I don't like to say wow because, you know, everything's expensive now, but yeah, I haven't looked at the Taylors lately. So anyway, back to the questions. Oh, you have got the wine red. You've got them all apart from the blue one and the Wonderwall guitar. I wonder what happened to that Wonderwall guitar. Yeah, I didn't love it. See, again, I always say this. I sold it because I didn't love it, but once I realized that was that same model, I just kicked myself. And I told this story. I'm gonna put this story in my video eventually. I was looking for this guitar and I Google searched this model, and it came up as someone sold one on Facebook Marketplace. And I thought, oh, I wonder who that was. Let's see. Oh, it's Aaron Short back when he left London. It was me. I sold the guitar that I was looking to buy 10 years later. What a fool. Right, I have an Epiphone Sheridan Pro 2 in wine red. Yeah, I used to have an Epiphone of that style guitar in England that was a great guitar. I did sell that when I moved to America. But for me the wine red Epiphone is just as good. It's a great guitar. That's the Sheraton Pro 2. Yeah, they're all a bit different. Greg White, I also heard the 50th anniversary talk 314. Sounded really good. I have to check that out. I mean the videos. I'm not going to buy one. These guitars are mine. Not going to sell them. Great. Well, you're the right customer for me. You know, you're buying these guitars. I mean, obviously, you and me are both fully aware that these guitars will most likely retain their value and even increase in value, and that's not a bad thing. But you didn't buy them to then go out the next day and sell it for double on Reverb. That's a bit of a sore point for me. I just wish they made a few more of them. With the help of a mixer, is using Pro Satellite effects to record a guitar a good option? Not sure I know what you mean. With the help of a mixer, is using Pro Satellite effects to record a guitar a good option? I don't know what you mean. I do believe in buying a digital mixer where you can record your gig and record the raw unprocessed files and then import them later on into Logic and mix down a professional mix, if that's what you mean. I'm not quite sure what you mean. So please let me know in the chat. Nick says, I wanted to get the rant alert on the signature guitar comment. No, not really. As a fan of gear, it's a bummer that most guitars they release as limited edition are so expensive and rare you never get your hands on them. I mean, they did release an Epiphone version of the Noel Gallagher And it wasn't a copy of that guitar. It was the other guitar, the Japanese guitar, which was cool. I try not to buy signature guitars because I'd rather own guitars that are mine. I like that mental thought of this is the Aaron Short guitar. This is my guitar. I don't know if I want someone's signature. I understand the thing if you're a fan or you look at their signature and it makes you think I need to work harder to be better like them. You also pay a lot more for a signature because they have to pay the artist, right? A lot of money gets added on to guitars that goes to the artist. Now, often that money does go to a charity, but that wouldn't be on there if it wasn't for the artist thing. So I know Martin donate the money to charity, but again, if you just bought the regular guitar, that wouldn't be added on top. So that is adding to the price. Limited is annoying because they're tapping into that side of us, that child part of our brain where if I must have one because I'll never have one again. It's rare. It's limited. It's like I was thinking the other day. It's like when you were a kid and they had cereal boxes and they put those toys in the cereal box and you had to buy the cereal to get the toy and you had to keep buying boxes of cereal to get the toy that you were missing from the collection to make the full collection. But that was simply a way to sell cereal to kids and make us eat even more of that junk than we were eating anyway. Right? It's terrible. And it's the same with Gibson. They tapped into that part of my brain last weekend where I was willing to pay someone to go there and get me one of those guitars. But what a terrible idea to send someone there, make them take their time, pick you up an expensive guitar that you may not like, you haven't played it, ship it to another country, it might get damaged, get it out of the box, you might not even like the thing. Yes, you can turn around and resell it, but I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to go public and that I sell stuff like when I'm doing YouTube and things like that's not a path I want to go down. I'm not interested in doing that. That brings up its own issues of like you sell it to someone and they find an issue and it's expensive because it's not a matter of just buying something and selling it either. There's all these other things that come into it as well. And let's face it, we have this when we buy any guitar, right? How often that's why I love the Sweetwater return policy. How do you know you're going to bond with a guitar straight away? That's what happened with the Maton guitar. I had an issue with it. I had to have it repaired. So this is the great thing with guitar stores, although guitar stores have their own issues, like they don't have all the inventory. So a good return policy for me is really important. I personally, but I know it's nothing like the same, but I would personally rather go on Sweetwater and do something like this. Look. And this has its own potential issues. So look, they have a Les Paul Custom. They have them, right? And they have one that's £10 right here. So I could order this guitar I could ask them for a discount and I could get this for around $5,000, hopefully. So it's well under half the price. And I also have the 4 weeks to return it if I don't love it. And I could also ask them, and a couple of things I want to talk about here actually. I could ask them to take the pickup covers off, replace the knobs with the cream knobs, and install the split switch in there as well. Of course, then I can't return it, but that would cost me a lot less money than buying a $30,000 to $25,000 Noel Gallagher version, and it's also not relicked at all as well. And of course, the great thing with Sweetwater is I can keep checking back here because this is a standard guitar. They're doing a lot of these ebony black guitars right now, again, because of the woods that's happening with the wood. Maybe next week there'll be one on here that's £9. I mean, I would definitely go for something like that. I know it's not the same. I'm not discrediting our friend's purchase at all. It's not the same thing. But I'm just saying at least the good thing with the Noel Gallagher guitars is you can do that. You can still have that style of guitar. It's not like the John Mayer guitar that Martin made where they will not remake that guitar with that look, with that inlay, because it'll be too similar to the 400 that they made and it'll upset those customers. That's really stopped us from ever getting that guitar ever again. Whereas with the Noel guitars, like I said, last week a 355 came up that was exactly the same as that guitar they made for Noel Gallagher with less aging but less money. So you can still get the guitar. So I really like that. I think to be fair to Gibson, that's cool. And I like that. And also Noel Gallagher, he's not making some wild new finish and he just wants his guitars remade to take out on the road, and that's really nice. And of course, even then, let's not kid ourselves. The guitars that they're releasing right now for the Noel Gallagher thing, they're not the same wood, they're not the same builders, they're not the same guitars that he owns in his personal collection. They may be better, they may be worse. So that's the thing with signature guitar as well. Do you know a really cool story is the Fender John Mayer guitar, the Strat, is a really cool guitar, or was a really cool guitar. They don't make them anymore. But he didn't play one hardly at all on stage. He played a Stevie Ray Vaughan. So if you're a big... I want to mention this at some point, so I'll mention it now. If you're a big fan of John Mayer and his early days of Strat playing with the Fenders, the best thing you can do is to buy one of these, either aged or non-aged, custom shop SRV Strats. Lock down the whammy bar, because it's a left-handed guitar, so it's on the wrong side anyway. So you lock that down, because that's what Mayer does. Replace the pick guard that says SRV with a tortoiseshell style pick guard. That is the guitar. And then play it a lot, because that is basically then the guitar that John Mayer had. Now, John Mayer had those pickups that he said were slightly wound wrong. Well, you could replace the pickups easily. You could just buy a set of his pickups from that old guitar and put them in this, or you could just mess around with the EQ. But my point is, this will get you a lot closer to John Mayer's actual guitar. And of course, if you find an SRV standard run guitar from the 90s and stick that pick guard on there, that is going to be a pick guard from his custom shop model with those pickups on a 90s SRV guitar is going to get you way closer to what Mayer actually played than buying one of his signature guitars now for loads more money, probably. And on the flip side of that, like I said earlier about woods being different, it still won't be the same thing, because even two guitars made at that time off the production line will still be slightly different to each other. So there really is no answer to all this stuff. But I think people should think about that. If you want to play a guitar your hero played, look into what they actually played at the time rather than what their custom shop signature model is, because they're often very different. I've been interested in stereo guitar recordings for a long time. Can't figure out the reason for the effects change on the pedal. Yeah, so I do like stereo delay. If you're using ping pong, that would have to go at the end of the chain. I do like stereo reverbs. They're a bit harder to hear, but stereo delay is almost worth going for in stereo altogether. Also chorus if you use it, and effects like that, time-based effects. But certainly ping pong delay can sound incredible. That's why I would go stereo, for ping pong delays. But then it creates a lot of complication in your signal chain. So is it worth it? It's certainly easy to do with a modeler. So I definitely have a modeler for that, like a Quad Cortex or Helix or whatever. No Takamine, although I always thought about owning one. They're just so rare now. I just never see them. Taylor is great. I can't seem to get the right pickup. Doesn't work for me. I think you can order the Taylor without the pickup, which would be an option. Then put like an Anthem in there. I played some with Lee and Rosanna when we went to the store that will not be mentioned anymore. But they were all right. No, I shouldn't say that. The guy there was nice. I went to the other location, but I won't get into that. Stores are stores. People have their things going on. I know. The Taylors I played there, I like the 900 series, but I think they've just changed the 900 series as well. Are they discontinuing the 900 series? Something about that. Yeah, I felt bad too. It became the Noel Gallagher episode. I knew I'd talk about it, but I didn't know there'd be someone here that bought one. So there we go. Need to leave now anyway. Okay, cool. Thanks for sharing. And if you can let me know the exact weight, I'd really appreciate it. It's kind of crazy. As long as the guitar sounds good and feels good, I don't care how it looks. And more expensive doesn't mean better. Yes. The look and the playability, the sound and the feel are definitely number one. I do care about looks, but definitely after. I certainly don't want a guitar that looks incredible and sounds terrible. What's the point of that? That's completely useless. Yes, everything is more expensive and the gigs still pay the same. I know, but it's up to us to put those prices up. It's up to us to play even better, sound even better. I'm not saying we should bring more people. I don't agree with that. But it's up to us to be the best that we can, that people come back to see us. And at that point, we then have to say to the venues that we need to increase our prices. And if we all do that around the world, it will work. If we continue to play for the same money we played for 10 years ago, it will not work. And also, on the flip side of that, people that play for free or for drinks, that's a whole new conversation. But you know what I'm saying? It's really up to us. And I know people locally that are getting more money. I speak to people. I got friends that play around America that are getting more money. It's really on us. It's how we value ourselves. And a lot of that, speaking for myself, a lot of that is when you walk in or you talk to someone about playing. It's really just how you present that out, how you put that out there, isn't it? That's right. If you second guess yourself or you doubt yourself, that's not good. You just need to put your best foot forward with that stuff. And I really think that will help. You know, it's a shame that musicians don't have like a community or a union. Like in England, there was a musicians union, but the rate was so low, you'd never charge that anyway. And nowadays, we don't really have a union. I think it's good that there's people talking online about what they charge and that. I don't agree with it on many levels, but it's also good to know what the market is. But it's just really hard when you're dealing with like a bar. Like, how do you get across the fact that you've been playing for 30 years, you've got a degree, you're professional, you're fun, you're engaging, you promote yourself, you make flyers, you have a YouTube channel, you have an Instagram, you promote the gigs, you always give 110%. You're happy to work through any issues and be professional. How do you know, it's very hard to present that. I need to do that now. I'm going to be looking for some more places for Saturdays. And I need to present that to some places. And it's very hard, especially with email. You know, thousands of people send emails to venues. They don't even get read, do they? The best thing is when someone recommends you in person to the venue, of course. But yes, it's certainly not easy. But I think many people undervalue the whole music thing. The only signature I have is a George Harrison Rosewood Telly, the most recent version. Yes. I was hoping to get the greenie, but way too pricey. Yeah. All right, good question from Sam. What's a good beginner Stratocaster for someone who already knows how to play acoustic guitar? I often think about this. There must be so many people out there that play acoustic guitar, I know an acoustic guitar, and want to get into electric guitar, but how do they get into it? Like, what's the best guitar? I would say, you know, everyone says, and I would say as well, a Telly, but I don't love Tellys. But if you're coming from an acoustic background, like a Telly with 10s on it would be a really good option. But I'm so used to Strats now that I wouldn't want to go that way myself. But in my mind, it's not a beginner for sure, but yeah, I need to know budget. You say beginner. You see, when I think of beginner, I think of a beginner as wanting a quality instrument, because I can't imagine a beginner wanting something that's hard to play or not of a good quality that they don't want to pick up all the time. But when you say beginner, do you mean you want to spend under $500? I guess is the question. If I was recommending something today, based on the guitars that I've played the last 2 years, I really like this one. So you could look for one of these used. American Pro 2 Strat. Really good. Well, the one I have is really good. And yeah, you if you don't want the whammy bar, you could lock that down for now. Take that out of the equation. Plays really well. Good tunability. Great sounding pickups. Yeah. This isn't the guitar that I reach for every day, but if I had to like sum up overall, a really great guitar, it'd be this one. I really like it. $1,700 used, probably $1,200. Yeah, probably lasts you the rest of your life, honestly. But let me know in the chat what you think. And the thing is, there's really good quality strats out there now for $300, $400, $500 as well. So don't forget that. But I'll offer that up as my, based on all the guitars I've played last few years and my overall opinion of the overall product, I would say this one. 17 is way more than what they were when they came out. I bet you can find a used one in mint condition for $1,000, or even some stores that are clearing out stock. But I bet you can find that for around $1,000 used, and that would be an incredible guitar to learn on. Also, check out the Telecaster version, but I just don't bond with them quite as well. The music business is all about good connections. I think if you decide to get into it, you can start by buying an expensive guitar. Choose it wisely. It is all about, yeah, music business is about people, and that's why I like it. I like that it's about people. That's one of the things I find appealing. And you're right. But you also have to have the goods to back it all up as well. Like, there's no point having loads of connections and not be able to play in tune. Then you're not going to get very far. Donald Passman, all about the music business. I read that when I was at university. I did music performance at university, and we had different modules. Like the main module was performance. So every week you'd play a song with a band, and then you did your instrument session. So mine was voice. My instrument was voice at the time, and then you did music business, music history, music theory, and a few other things, technology. And one of the things we had to read as part of the business course was that book, Donald Passman, all about the music business. It's great. It's a gold standard. It's a big problem where I live. I agree. Yeah, it's frustrating. But someone said to me the other week on the flip side of this that, you can't worry about other people and what they charge and what they do. You have to sit down and decide what your time is worth, what your value is, what your experience is worth. And, also obviously not overcharge, but you can't worry about others and what they do and what they charge and how they play. You've got to just be the best that you can be and make sure you're happy with what you're coming away with, which I do agree with that as well. That's a healthy way to think about it. I was in Lisbon for Roger Waters' concert. Found Lisbon very reasonable, especially for a capital city. I've never been. Oh, 500 to $2,000. Well, that guitar I showed you is right in there. Check it out. That's great. Look for a light one too. Let's see if they've got any right now that are lights. I'll just show you quickly. So this is the blue one. I love the idea of the blue one. I've seen one in person, didn't love it. But look, £7.08 is pretty good on that one. They got the dark one. I don't really like that. They're pretty heavy as well. They've got some exclusive colors now too. See, over £8, not for me. I like the 3-color sunburst. And I think you can find one that's like £7.5. That's what I would get. Yeah, good, very good guitar. Very, very, very good guitar. I had to have it set up, but you often do, It's got the contour there. Yeah, it's great. And if you want to get away from Fender, then obviously I haven't seen this one. Ooh, Anniversary. Again, a lot of these guitars are very heavy lately. £8 and over. That's kind of cool looking. But I do like the 3-color sunburst because of the whole Mayer thing. If you want to get away from Fender, you can get very good deals on Strats. So don't forget that as well. I've never bonded with the Strat, but I probably have not played the right one with the right pickups. Yeah, it's all about that. They all feel so different. Their weights are all different. The pickups are so different. My biggest problem with the single coil thing is the noise. Drives me crazy. So you could look into Noise's pickups. Know your worth and charge accordingly. Yep. And that's a personal thing. You also have to look at the market. You have to find out a way to figure out what other people are charging on the market. At least get some kind of idea somehow. I know it's hard to figure that out. There's ways, of course, if you know the right people, you can kind of find that out. You do have to judge the market and price yourself, but you also have to know what you're worth. I mean, for example, if you play once a month and you know you're going to have 50 people at every gig, I would definitely charge more than if I was asking to play somewhere every Saturday and I was basically, when you play every night, you're not going to have 100. You're not going to have anyone come to see you. Probably some, but you know what I mean. When you play every night, you're not going to have 100 people come to see you. To make it clear, I don't believe we should take anyone. Our job is to provide the music in the same way the chef's job is to provide the food, not to bring people. I do think it's also on us to at least promote that we're doing these things. Why wouldn't you? Right? Why wouldn't you tell someone you're playing a gig, right? And I certainly do have one or two people come up to most of my gigs now, which is great. So I do have a kind of a following there, and that adds value as well. That's what I'm trying to say. So if you do have a following, you can certainly ask for more than if you don't, even though it's not up to us to do that. Hopefully, like my plan is to try to grow more of a following, so I have that kind of ability as well. Obviously, to make the gigs more fun, have more people, and also to be more valuable to the venues, because I just realized last week I didn't put on my Instagram where I'm performing every week. So now on my Instagram, you see me with a guitar. You know I'm a guitar player. There's a button to press to book me or inquire about an event. And the first post that's pinned is my weekly schedule of gigs. So now it's much more professional. I've made the new website last year. It's also got my schedule on it and a contact form. And when I see people at shows or they tell me they like what I do, I give them the card. I ask them to follow me on Instagram. And my plan is to build that up so I actually get people coming back week to week. That's the point where you can then ask for more money, right? Because it's all business, of course. So I do see a lot of musicians that don't do that. Some friends I've made recently online in the scene are promoting really well. And that made me realize I need to up my game with that side of it as well. I think a lot of musicians don't promote at all. I think that's not good. So, have you always done music as a job, or did you work in some other thing? I always have. When I was a kid, I worked at a hotel kitchen and an ice cream shop that I didn't last very long, let's just say that, because my heart wasn't in it at all. I wanted to play music, and I've been playing in bars for money since I was 16, or around 16. Which is awesome. And then when I moved to London and did the vocal degree, the music degree, I was doing gigs to supplement the income then. And then as soon as I finished, I was very lucky when I finished the degree, I was then, because I spent the time building my connections, I then had enough work to do it full time. Then I was a teacher on a similar music program, teaching this time alongside that. So I was teaching all week, gigging all week, gigging all weekend, doing weddings of the weekend. I was crazy. And then that's when I made the decision to come here to America. And then I didn't really want to pursue the teaching thing. I wanted to do the YouTube thing because I find this a good outlet to like teach in a way. I don't really teach on here, but it gives me that kind of thing. And I would like to go into that more in the future. I don't know. I want to find a way to talk about that stuff without actually like teaching it. Do you know what I mean? Because actually teaching in a school and having those kind of, or a university, college, and having that kind of pressure on you, I didn't really find that to be a lot. There's a lot of paperwork and that stuff. I don't like that stuff. But I love doing the gigs, and I think it's a bit harder lately than it was 10 years ago. But we have to make the opportunity. We have to be good at what we do. We have to make the opportunities. We have to get out there and just hustle all the time, right? And promote. So yeah, I've always done it, and I'm very grateful for that, and I love it. I still love it, and I hate hearing people that say they don't enjoy. I'm like, why are you doing it? Like, I still just love setting up in a bar with people, playing covers songs that people connect with. I don't care if it's a cover, entertaining them. I just love it. I still love it. All these years, that's been 30 years. I still love it. Does the wood material on electric guitar affect the sound like acoustic guitar? Yes, but not as much. The main thing you hear with an electric guitar is the pickup. And don't forget, with an acoustic guitar, the main thing you hear from an acoustic guitar plugged in is the pickup. You hear the pickup way more than you hear the guitar. You really only hear the acoustic guitar when you play it in front of a microphone. Not completely. There's different levels of that depending on the system, but it's a good thing to remember. There's no point buying a $20,000 acoustic guitar, putting an undersaddle passive pickup in it, and expecting that to sound any different to any guitar with that pick. You're hearing that pickup in that guitar. And so you could say the same with electric. You're hearing the pickup. Of course, the body shape, the weight, all those factors will influence the sound that's coming through the pickup in a way, but not. I'm going to start a whole argument here, but I think we can agree that that pickup is what's actually sending out that sound way more than the wood of the guitar. So yeah, if you've got an undersaddle pickup and an acoustic, you're hearing that pickup just in that part of the guitar. You're not hearing the wood. You're not hearing all that stuff. That's what you're hearing. That's why all those guitars with those sort of pickups sound so similar, because that's what you're hearing. Aries, I've been busking for 12 years. It's the way I try to promote to get more gigs. Now you've just reminded me something. I want to apply, and I've been reminded of this twice today, and I haven't done it. I must do it tonight. I want to apply for the Subway auditions. I did it in London. I was one of the first Subway buskers in London under the official program. And I want to do it in New York City. And you have to apply now before March. Let me just check that right now. I hope I haven't missed it, because every year I think, I want to do that, and I don't apply, and then it's too late. Have I missed the deadline? I've got a bad feeling that I've missed it again. I've got to wait another year. Oh no. Auditions application dates, January 1st to March 1st. Okay, I'm going to apply this week to MTA performers. I don't want to do it full time, because I love doing the gigs I have now full time, and I'm still doing the YouTube channel. I want to grow the channel more. But like, if I have a weekend with no gigs or something, or only not enough gigs, or even just like once a month, I really want to do that again. I think it'd be really cool. So I'm going to apply. So thanks for reminding me. Aries, you are a diligent businessman. Respect to you. J. Maher, apologies if the question has been answered 100 times. What's your favorite non-dreadnought Martin to gig with? Looking to move away from HD35. Bothering my shoulder. GPC for gigging. But your options are kind of limited to the Inception right now. I would say an OM28. If the Dreadnought's bothering you, get an OM28, because the GPC is still a bit thick on the body. You should probably check out the SC. I haven't tried them yet, but those SC28 guitars for gigging could be exactly what you want. So I would look at the SC28, the new one, and also check out the OM20. You can't go wrong with a really good OM28 with a good pickup in it. You can't go wrong. OM28, Anthem SL, you're just laughing. Amazing. But do consider the SC if you want that modern look with the modern cutaway, because they look cool. I haven't played one yet, but they look cool. So yeah. OM28 or SC28. You're living the dream. That's beautiful. Yes, I love it. I love the whole music. I love everything about music. I love the music. I love the community. I love the people, the friendships, the connections with people. You know, just 3 hours of just playing music and performing and getting away from the technology. Then I also love coming to the technology like this and talking to you all around the world about what we do. It's awesome. I don't talk enough about the gigging though. I'd like to do that more down the line. Do some videos. I'm going to do I'm not going to post it, but I'm going to do an audition video for the Subway because I really want to do it. SC18, SC28 look cool. Thanks for your own regular. Yeah. Well, if you, some people don't want the look of the SCs. They're too modern. They don't want a cutaway. If you think that the SC28 looks cool, then you should get one because it's going to be great for what you do. Again, haven't played one in person, but if you want to go extreme and have something comfortable and easy to play that sounds good plugged in, one of those, like with I think they have the Anthem now. Amazing. And then if you want something more traditional and don't want to cut away, get the OM28. A good one, though. Did you see a poor busker in New York? He was playing a cello. Someone walked over, picked up his water bottle, or aluminium, and hit him on the back of the head. Now, that concerns me, and I've already been thinking that one reason I wouldn't do busking on the subway is because of security. Like, I take the subway regularly. There's a lot of craziness down there these days. I would certainly want to take a guitar that's durable. Not cheap, but durable at least. I certainly wouldn't leave anything unattended. I want to be really minimal. I would take like the Bose S1 Pro Plus because there's no cables to trip on. I'd have maybe a carbon guitar like this Rain Song. And that would be it. Maybe a headset so there's no microphone for them to grab. That would be it. I want to be really minimal. Go in the daytime, keep your wits about you, etc., etc., etc. But you do, yeah, that's the downside. Look, the plus side is you play to everyone, not just people in bars. And the downside is you play to everyone, not just people in bars. And let's face it, bars, that can happen in the bar as well. That could be a glass bottle on your head in the bar. So, you know, but yeah, the subway definitely opens you up to the world. But that's the appeal for me. You see, in a pub gig, it's a bit. Let's not kid ourselves. A bar at midnight, you're just as likely to have a guitar stolen. Someone stand on a. I mean, the other day, someone walk over my stuff. Sunday, family party, someone walked over the stuff. I'm like, come on, don't cross that's my stage. Don't cross it, please. Drives me crazy, but people just don't know. They don't understand that the equipment is valuable to us and we can't replace it, and they don't get it. I get that too, but again, that's why some people, like I know Gary has the lights that creates like a stage. I can still see people walking over that anyway. You know, there's this every time we go out with a guitar, we're opening ourselves up to any of this stuff. But that's also what appeals to me. Like, if I go busking, I'm going to play to someone that would never come to see me play in a bar. That's awesome. Sergio says, street musicians create a wonderful atmosphere. Exactly. Many who return from work, I think, should appreciate their impartiality. Yeah. Yeah, it's playing to people that are just out that would never see you anywhere else. Instagram is the best way, and everyone, yeah. If you haven't got an Instagram for your music, you need to make one right now. You need a picture of you with the instrument so people know that you actually are a musician. See, it seems so obvious, but so many people don't have a picture with a guitar that play guitar, so they don't know you're a guitarist. You can set up a link to email you from that Instagram so they can contact you to inquire about a booking, and pin your gigs, post your gigs regularly. And there's a way now to pin a post. So make that first post your schedule or your next gig so they can see clearly when you're. The stories are great, but they have to click on the story to see the story. So the post will be right there all the time. Drunk people suck. I know, but it's like everything else, isn't it? Without the alcohol at the start of the night, people can be a bit standoffish. Once they've had a few drinks, they can loosen up and it can be a really nice atmosphere. And then if they go too far, it can get nasty. It's just like everything else in life, that balance thing. One of the bars I play here, I put a tape around me. Yeah, I mean, look, ideally you have a stage and you have a thing around that stage so people cannot access the stage. Like, this is my stage. But how many places actually have that? So that's why it's important not to have cables everywhere. You don't want people to trip on stuff. And that's why I have liability insurance. I have public liability insurance. So if someone does trip on something, which, knock on wood, has never happened, but it could easily happen, at least if that happens, I'm covered. So if you haven't got liability insurance for what you do, you should really consider that. And don't forget with that as well, that's all stuff you can claim for on your taxes, right? That's all an expense for our business. Can you play Oasis, mate, after midnight? You know, it's funny you say that. I really don't mind it. I willingly play Wonderwall every night. I love it. And I love the I mostly love it because I love the reaction that it gets. It's getting dry in here. But, you know, the great thing about America is, to that, I just say, yeah, and point at the tip jar. You want to give me $20? I'll play Wonderwall. I enjoy Wonderwall. There's a lot of musicians will say the same thing. Oh, I hate playing one. I'm not playing Wonderwall. I won't play the. But, come on. Okay, I'm lucky. I like Oasis. I like one. I'll gladly play it anytime. I think it's a great song still. I'm not saying I sit and listen to it every day. I'm very much used to the song, but I still think it's a great song, and I play it because of the reaction that it gets. And if that includes them tipping me to play it, I'm happy to play it. Now, of course, not everywhere has tips around the world, but even then I'd be thinking, well, if they clap and go crazy and buy another round of drinks, that's a good look for the bar, and they'll hire me again. You got to play songs that connect with the people. Why would you not do that? When I was younger, I used to do a lot of originals and B-sides, but it was suicide. What's the point of doing that to yourself? You need to play the songs that connect with the people. That isn't always Wonderwall and Sweet Caroline. Sometimes that's a kind of a weird, random song, but just hit a certain group at that point in their life, and it really brings them back into that. But of course, generally, it's Country Roads, Wonderwall, Sweet Home Alabama, Sweet Caroline. And then there's some songs like Blister in the Sun. Like, a lot of people don't even know what that song is, but the minute you play the riff, people they join in and clap along. So, yeah, I love playing Well, there's not many people that play guitar that don't love playing the guitar, are there? You don't need to sing Aaron, they sing for exactly. But that's the point as well. You encourage them to sing. I count. So when I get to the chorus of Wonderwall, I go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm like, I'm encouraging them even more to sing, because it's that's the connection, isn't it? I play Live Forever, not Wonderwall. Live Forever is harder to sing for me and not quite as well known around the world. So that's why I stick to Wonderwall. I've actually been playing Champagne Supernova lately. A lot of people in America prefer that song. I think that was a big hit in America for Oasis. And I really love on the new guitar I've got with the humbucker. I love the doing the solo. So I do the solo on that. And I also do like the electric with the distortion over the top. It sounds great. So I've really been enjoying singing Champagne Supernova. And it's a great song to play at the end of the night, I need to learn all the solos that Paul Weller does on the album. But yeah, that's awesome. All right, so I think I'm done. I've told you what happened last week. I've shown you the news that I've seen this week. That Fender thing is great. If you're on the shelf, you should get one. So seriously, if you need something for a modeler, that is, of course. It's no good by itself. As usual, if you're new here, subscribe and ring the bell, or just check that you have in fact subscribed and rung the bell in the past, of course. That would be awesome. Please tune in on Wednesday, 2 p.m. EST, so 2 hours earlier than today's show was. We're going to have Michael Haney Guitars, and we're going to talk about his guitars and take questions on electric guitars. So someone asked today, does the wood affect the guitar? That's a great question for Michael, because he builds guitars. So he's way more into this stuff on a technical level than I am. So please bring those questions again on Wednesday. That'd be great. And yeah, I hope you all have a great week. So I tried playing outside a couple of times, didn't succeed. The sense of ground is lost. Yeah, outside is cool, but it's the sound. I mean, the sound on the subway is great because of the acoustics down there. Nick says, thanks for the show. Cheers, Nick. Country Roads, nice song to end. Yep, can't go wrong. I'd say my number one sing-along is Country Roads. Maybe one Wednesday we'll do a gigging musician live stream and talk about like the best songs to play at our shows and the funniest stories. That'd be a good one. Might do that just for something different. Thank you, Mad, for it. Pat O'Brien's first join piano bar and the crowd sings for you. Yep, that's always great. And dueling pianos is very hard to beat. I mean, the sound of a piano is so full with the bass and the treble and the two hands, and imagine having two of those going at the same time. Very hard to beat a dueling piano thing. And they're always entertaining. They're always fun. Thanks for your help, Lee. Thank you, Rosanna. Bye. Thank you, Aries. Thank you, Chris Sean. Thanks, Lee, again. See you Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday, 2 p.m. EST. I'll see you again. So it won't be too long. Have a great couple of days. I'll see you then. Look forward to it. Take care and be well. Bye-bye. Thank you.